Hello, this is Odette with a home for me. So, in the past, I started with a home for you, and I explained that the name came from my dream of building this place, this home for the children, for the teenagers who leave the foster care system or who go through any severe childhood trauma that leaves them with nowhere to go, a place for them to come, to be welcomed home, to be welcomed back within themselves. And then as I was going, I started this journey. Everything just comes, everything is just coming. I'm not really forcing much. Everything is just coming and coming. And so as I kept going, everything started pointing towards a home for me first. That's what my upcoming book is going to be called, A Home for Me. Because this journey really, really started with me embodying the message, with me understanding fear, going through the pain, the trauma, and then becoming present, even when I didn't know that's what I was doing, enough to follow the path to build this home within myself that I embody today and that I am still building for myself. And so, a home for me is what I am building for myself. In doing so, helping you to. I see it as the roots, the foundation, and a home for you will become the fruits. It will be the fruits that serves you too. So you might see a home for you some places, and a home for me in some places. I'm trying to unify them together, but I'm going to start saying a home for me because this is what feels true to me. I started writing because I wanted to find a way to surrender in the fear I was feeling at that moment. And I grabbed my phone and just started writing. And that's how I published my first article. I just wrote and then I published it. And that's how this became about. And everything I speak about helps me first. And then my intention is that it helps open up something in you too. Let me grab another pillow. Okay. So the question I got a question. I was chatting with one of my friends, friend, and the question was: is there a difference between legitimate fear and manufactured fear? Right? Because I talk about fear, and I place both of them into one category. I just call it fear. Period. Right? And so that was the question, and they used an example: legitimate fear. You're walking through the woods with some kids. This was her. And you saw a bunch of snakes on the path you were taking. You saw them bathing, enjoying the sun. You felt the fear. It triggered something. And so you paused and you then started taking the other way. You found another path. You went back. So this was her, right? She was walking in the woods on a path with some kids that she was leading through, and they found a bunch of snakes on the path. And somehow, she noticed that they were sunbathing, and she thought, it might be smart to go back. the other way and find another path. So now that fear compared with manufactured fear, so basically man made fear. This could be, I'm scared of roses because they have thorns, or I'm scared of those people, or I'm scared of that villain. I'm genuinely scared of that villain because of all the horrible things they are doing, right? And so, is there a difference between I saw the lion and so I got scared, and I saw those people that I just do not like? Is there a bit difference between those two fears, and is one better than the other, or is one okay to experience and surrender within, or are they both fear, just one category? And yeah, so this is what I want to talk about today, and I want to explore because I think it's actually a really great question. I've been thinking about ways to actually separate these fears, and when she said it like that, I thought, oh my goodness, this is perfect. I'm glad that she asked that question. I love questions, so please ask them. Ask them. That's how I also go deep within and helping you remember more too. Now, before we start, because grounding is the best thing ever to remember our breath, I'm going to just take a few deep breaths to get comfortable and to also breathe out some of the fears that I may be holding right now and showing up in this moment with. Because I want to be able to communicate the message to you as clearly as it can be communicated using my words from my subconscious mind, but without the lens of fear. Okay? So I'm going to breathe in through my nose, imagine that air going up my mind, going up my body, circling through, and then letting it out through my mouth like a vacuum. Like, okay. And I'm going to take them a bit slowly so I can really take my time and feel it and surrender within my body. And I'll encourage you to do the same. But at the end of the day, be present enough to decide what is the next path, the next now for you. Okay. Okay. So, legitimate fear or manufactured fear. Where do I start? I want to actually go back to her exact example of legitimate fear. She saw the snake and it triggered fear in her. But between that time when that trigger happened and her decision of taking her and the children back another path, she might have not noticed it. And that is why the questions are great because sometimes we miss these things when they're happening. Okay. But she was able to surrender within her body, within herself, she was able to take a breath to the point where she noticed there was sunbathing. Okay. Now, let's use that same example, but with someone who was not present enough to even notice the snake. Because it happens. Sometimes we're so much in here about the past and what has happened and the pain we're feeling, right? It's so valid. Or we're thinking about the future and what is going to happen. I only have $1 in my bank account. How am I going to pay for rent? And so we're thinking about these things and we're experiencing that fear. And when you're in fear, you're not present. It's always been like that. And so let's say that person was walking through the woods. They didn't even notice the snake because they were in here and thinking about the future. And so they stepped on the snake. Okay. They were already in the fear frequency. They stepped on the snake. How would it feel being stepped on? The snakes will also respond with fear. And together, it does create a more fearful situation. Another situation could be walking with the children. Yes, seeing the snake, it triggers the fear in you. And you take something, try to kill them, and they will also fight back. And so together, you create a more fearful situation. Or you see the snake and you scream so loud because of the fear you feel. And so together, you and the snakes create a more fearful situation. And so, even with a fear that we can call legitimate, like seeing the lion or seeing the elephant that's running towards you, the the code, the math of fear plus fear equals more fear still apply. And a lot of people will actually say that their fear is legitimate because to say legitimate, it's valid, right? Legit, valid. The person who is really scared about the rent that they have to pay tomorrow while they have $1 in the bank account will tell you that it's a very legit fear because, and especially if they have people that come with that, dogs or animals or things that they really value that come with that, are thinking about how they're going to be put outside. And so they will actually say that's a legitimate fear, right? And I got the reason why I'm actually doing a video today is because I want to explain it. I want to talk about those two situations again, the manufactured fear versus the legitimate fear, but while using algebra. I used to love algebra, but then I thought, how can I actually use these things in real situations, like in real life? And I just found a way. This actually explains everything I've been talking about in a way so simplified. And this code has been working since the beginning of time. All I am doing here, I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just here to remind you. That's why I use the word remember. I'm not here to teach you about any belief, to teach you about anything new. I'm not even here to teach you math. I'm just here to help you remember. Okay. So, in algebra, some of us might remember there's like this line of like numbers, right? The positive and the negative. So it goes from negative to positive. And I'm going to, because this is, because I'm doing a video, it's kind of flipped. But I'm starting from here to here. So we're moving this way. Okay? I'm going to put this on this side and see if I can do it while you're looking. And the middle is 0. Okay? And then we have -1. Trying my best to do it well. I'm holding it up. -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on. It's infinite. Numbers are infinite. Okay. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. 0 is here. Now, let's say all the emotions, everything is energy. All the emotions you feel, their energy. Your thoughts create energy. Let's say everything you say, all the things you feel and all the things that comes up create a frequency, right? So fear has the negative numbers of frequency, and love, us, when you're tapping into the present moment, when you're surrendering, creates positive frequencies. Okay. And this is, you might even hear it um, now in social media or through things where people say positivity, when they're talking about positivity, positive vibes, positive vibrations, right? All these things, they carry a number. Let's just put it like that to understand this. And so positive vibrations, joy, laughter, all the things that come out of love, the things that we're always searching for, right? And then let's say all the anger, the embarrassment, the sadness. And sometimes I actually add excitement in this category. Maybe I'll talk about why in the future. I want to ground on that more. But sometimes I add it here because when we're really excited, sometimes we hold on to this expectation that it must go this way. And then when it doesn't, we feel the disappointment. But that's going to be another topic. And so then all these things, anxiety, depression, everything that is, you feel it, that brings up pain within you, or that makes your heart beat so fast, right? Fear. So let's hmm, fear, love. It's probably not going to show up um, the way we want it to, but it's going to be fine. Okay, so let's say you saw something that triggered fear in you. You saw the snake. Ah, I saw a snake. And so this is where you're at in the negative. You're -2. In here, you can decide. We don't think we're making these decisions, but we actually are. This is why I encourage all of us to become more present, to do as much as you can to um, remember yourself, to remember your breath, because we're always making decisions. I am making a bunch of decisions right now. They come naturally now because I'm just letting the moment just lead me. I'm being present enough. I'm trusting that everything is already going fine. So it's becoming a little easier, simpler. But we saw the snake, and so we are in this frequency. Now you can decide to take a breath And surrender, I call zero the moment surrendering is happening. So the moment you took that breath that you didn't know about, so you can go back here. The moment you're deciding into the present. And so, or you decide, no, snakes are just bad things, and so I have to kill them. And so you tapped into the fear, and so you take yourself to more. And the snakes will show up with fear because that's what the language we all speak, fear or love. And then we create more fearful situations. It's been like this since the beginning of time. And I would actually, this just came up because I've thought about it a few times and I'm really glad it came up right now. I would also argue that the legitimate fears, like seeing the snake or seeing the wasp and running, or seeing whatever, the crocodile, and feeling that fear, I will also actually argue that that's also man made. The reason why we are so scared of snakes are most likely because of the stories that we've stored in the subconscious mind about the snake. You would literally not be scared of the snake if the subconscious mind does not say, snakes, danger. There's danger in the snake. The snake can poison you. The snake can kill you. Survive, survive, survive. And then so you're like, okay, I'm going to survive. I'm going to kill them. And then you tap more into the survival, into the fear. Or I'm going to scream so loud. And then you scare the snakes. And so together, you create a more fearful situation. Okay. So legitimate fear, is it better than manufactured fear? I would say both fears fall under the category of fear. Simple. Because they both trigger the negative numbers. And whether or not it's legitimate or man made or manufactured, if you tap into more of that fear, you will create more fearful situations. Okay? It's always been like this. And so we get this trigger a lot. I have been, when I was traveling 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and I'm still recovering from it. Okay. I went through airports and through things. And so I'm now very sensitive of the fear everyone is feeling. I can, just by looking at you, by hearing you speak, I can already list 500 fear. We hold so much fear that we don't even know. We hold so much every day, and we've been holding so much before we've been reborn multiple times again. And this is why I also give us grace. This is why I give the ancestors grace. Because when you're in that negative frequency and it's infinite, this is why we've seen people do things that were like, I could have never imagined that. Even they could have never imagined it. When you're here in this frequency, there's a darkness that happens because this is you. And this is why for a long time we've been confusing it. We thought love was outside of us. We thought it was love was outside of us. Like a lot of religions say we are fear, and God, who we say is the love, the thing outside of us is here to save us. But the more present you become, the more you remember, you start noticing you are actually love. You are love. And so when you're in fear and you decide that, hey, this is what's important right now, I gotta shoot this snake. So I gotta stay in more of the fear and stay in more of the fear to survive and stay in more of the fear. You are increasing your frequency of the negative and you are getting away from yourself. Imagine being at negative 1000 and then coming all the way back to zero and then starting to experience this again. It can be very hard. And so when a lot of us, the ones that we the ones that we consider good people, the ones who are fighting for change, who are trying to do something good, who are trying to say, hey, that shit is bad, stop doing that. When we when we get triggered, we see that person, that villain that we call villain, we see that thing doing that fearful stuff, and we go to them and we give them our fear, we just increase it together. So, but let's do the math. Let the math explain it better. So let's say there's a system that you feel carries a lot of fear, is killing people, right? It's killing the earth, it's killing the children, it's all the things. So that's like, let's give it a negative 1000, okay? Because that's the frequency of fear that's showing up there. And so the things that they're doing is also triggering fear in you, because why is earth dying? That's not fair, right? It brings up fear in you, the legitimate fear that we will call. And so you also try to fight that thing with more fear. You try to spread about how bad they are and spread the fear, right? Spread and tell your friends about it and tell the neighbors about it and tell your family about it and tell all these other things about how this thing is so fearful. And so then you spread the fear. And so your fear, negative, let's add your fear to the fear of the system that you're so scared of. So remember, the fear of that system would classify it at negative 1000. And then your fear, let's say that you still sometimes tap and surrender within yourself. So you have not accumulated so much fear yet, right? You're still tapping into yourself by doing some art. Art is just a way of surrendering. So, drawing, you do that sometimes. You still take some time to take care of yourself in that way. So, you're showing up with negative 100. And because you felt that fire in you, you shared it with your friends and family. You told them about how horrible this thing, this system is. And it also lighten up fear in them. And so that's more negative. Let's say some family members, even they were even more pissed, even more angry. So negative 150. And so you feel proud because you're thinking, yes, finally everyone can understand how horrible this thing is. And so you keep talking about it. Keep talking about how horrible it is. And you try to come up with ways to dismantle this horrible thing, and you keep spreading it. And so then you add one more, negative 200. And so in total, what you just did was feed the negative 1000. You just fed the same thing that the system you do not like is made up out of. Yeah. So let's say negative 1000. minus, right? More negative, minus 100, 150, 200. That's 300, 450. So that's 1,450. So now we made up negative 1,100, 1,450. And so now, let's say it's now in the future, and you're still confused because you thought people were not getting angry enough, and if people knew how bad things were going, they would also, things would change. But instead, things just got worse. Why is that? But instead of taking time to pause, what we do a lot of the time is use that fear to reaffirm the old fears, the fear that started the things. So then we add more. So instead of, oh my goodness, more children are dying, and I feel like uh, we've been doing stuff. So what are we missing? Let me take some time to surrender within myself. Take some time to just pause and breathe. What am I missing? We instead say, oh, this is, I knew it. This system is so horrible. So horrible that even after I did all this, it did nothing. So more people must know. And so you go ahead and you add more negatives to the system again. And this is going on continuously. So imagine how much fear our world has accumulated over the years that we've been living. Okay, we have so many systems, we have religions, we have the government, we have schools, we have so many systems that we've built to help us survive, but instead are helping us feed the fear. And because we are also trying to survive, right? Because you're trying to survive. You think you're surviving to live, but actually you're surviving and you're adding more fear into the surviving, and that survival just continues. And that's what we've been doing for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so the best way, as you saw, to deal with the negative frequency, so the best way you can actually dismantle the system is by going back to surrendering, by going back to yourself and then tapping into these frequencies. A lot of the times we say, oh yeah, we ask each other, oh, have you done this thing that you really like? You love dancing. When was the last time you went dancing? And we're like, no, I haven't danced because I have more important things to do. I had to go do that thing that I hate so much. I have to go to that job that I do not like. I have to do this thing, or oh, I have to just do that thing, or I was doing this. And so we go back to the negative. So when we're, the most important thing, the most important thing you can actually do for you and the rest of the world is to surrender within yourself, to go back to yourself, because we are all pure light in this universe, in this nature, on this planet that we live in. But when fear shows up, instead of being present enough to see what the fear was trying to tell us, a lot of the time it's there to expand us. We say, nope, nope. We use it to reaffirm old stories. And so we go back. And we've been fighting darkness with darkness. And a lot of us are searching for the light, for the sun, when the light has been us all this time. But because we're so distracted with the fear, the valid, legitimate fear, I'm telling you, I just traveled, I did that travel back to back. And it took me a few weeks to literally come back within myself. And I am still trying to, okay? I just looked at my bank account today and I just felt so much fear coming up. Oh my goodness, am I still going to be able to pay for my car? What am I going to do? I do not want to go back to a 9 to 5 because a lot of them are so full of fear. I do the when I started this journey, right? I wanted to make the world a better place. And so I devoted my time to nonprofit organization, nonprofit work. And so I've just been in the nonprofit sector since I started. And then when I really started going deep into this journey, I started noticing that even the nonprofit work that I was doing had so much fear embedded in it. And so I left it behind. Not nonprofit work per se, but the the things that came with it at that time. And so I left it behind. The reason why I didn't go looking for another job was because I remembered that even that conventional thing that we created for ourselves to survive, right? Because we're trying that's what we think we're here to do, to survive. So then we work, we work, we work, we work. I noticed that that thing has a lot of fear embedded in it. And I didn't just want to continue the cycle. This was me taking a pause. This was me saying, okay, let my present moment guide me. And I was guided all the way here. I would not have been all the way here if it's not because I let go of the thing that was pulling me towards more fear. I let go of social media. I let go of people. I let go of. So when you're actually letting go of things that are pulling you towards more fear, you are falling automatically into the love. I've spoken about this before or wrote about it. When you step outside of the fear, you automatically fall into the love because the truth when you're present to see is that everything around you is here serving you. But when the ouch, the fear is loud, when pain is there, all we can think about is the pain. All we can think about is the darkness, the fear. And so we continue in this darkness. We continue. I have so many reasons to be scared right now. I do. I have so many reasons to be. I could choose one. And yet, I understand that my fear is not only impacting me, not only destroying my mind, body, and spirit, it's impacting everything that's around me because everything that is around us is alive. And this is why we've been together accumulating fear for years. For years. And this is why it's important to give grace to yourself. And remember the best way to dismantle the things are pulling people towards more fear, the things that we do not like, is by becoming present within ourselves. Is by embodying the light. Because that is actually what we are. That is what we are. And every little thing makes a difference. The villains that we call villains, they started with one fear at a time. Negative one, negative two, and then it just kept going. One decision at a time. It started with the parents, the parents' parents, the parents' parents, the parents' parents, that uncle who did that, the sister who said that, the person who did this, the what, and then it keeps going. And everything makes a difference. Everything. And I do want to close that. Now is what we all have. This moment now is what we all have, period. I was writing about this, but I want to say it here. When fire is burning, the trees don't run and hide to try to survive it. They could run and say, "Oh, let me hide right now. I'll give you air tomorrow, okay? I'll live tomorrow. I'll embody tomorrow. I'll embody myself tomorrow. Let me go hide. Let me go hide." They don't say that. They just be themselves. They understand that in every now, the best thing possible they could be doing by serving themselves and serving us is by being the tree. Because they understand that it's now that you have to breathe. So even when the fire is coming, they be for you. They be for me. Everything that is here, that you think is here to hurt you, is actually here to help you expand. Everything. And so there's a lot of wisdom, and it's getting dark and dark here, but I have my candles on. I love natural light. So that is what I will be using. And so I forgot what I was saying. The By being in the now, we remember, we start seeing, we start noticing clues that leads us in the next now. We start remembering that even the fire is here to serve us. I said that story about Harbin Hot Springs. You can look it up. Harbin, Harbin Hot Springs. They were totally burned down. They were totally burned down. The trees, the still trees are sticking up there to remind us of what happened. And yet everything, there were so many trees that grew back up. Beautiful, extraordinary. And now it holds this beautiful story. Fire cracks open a seed in a way that water can't. And so when the fire comes through, even when we're like, ouch, ouch, because, right? That's what I'm saying. I do it too. That's how fear is. That's how it works. And the more you're sitting in it, the more you're not able to see the light because you're going that way instead. When fire comes, it burns down the things that we are meant to let go of, but we're still attached to. That's why it hurts. That's why it hurts so much. But the people who are able to see beyond that create magic. And the people who are still in it burn. Same thing, different outcomes. And so, this is why there's nothing more important for me to be talking about. This is why this is what I devote my time to. Because it's time for all of us to remember. It's time for all of us to remember ourselves and to use the stories of our ancestors to remember, not to reaffirm old fears. Oh, I knew it. That person, that group is so horrible. Yep, that group is so horrible. No, to serve us, to move us forward, to help us grow. Use history to do that. Your strength is found in your surrendering. The reason why sometimes you might find your art, you might find your way of surrendering, like writing or singing, but then you're facing a block, a wall. You're like, I'm not feeling inspired. It's because some of this could be happening. But no worries, because sometimes, most of the times actually, when fear shows up like this, it's trying to offer something new. And so, even you too can find your art again or something new. Breathe, remember your breath. You're not just breathing to survive, you are here to live. You are here to serve, and that is why everything around you is serving you, so you can serve back. Remember your breath. Use air to cleanse yourself, to cleanse your mind, body, and soul. And then when you see things that put in fear within you, whether they're animals or whether they're people, humans just like you, remember this affirmation because it's the truth. This is the truth. Remember this affirmation when you see something that scares you. Huh, this is also me in another form. This is me in another form. This is also me in another form. When you see that snake, remember it is you too in another form. It is the truth. When you see that villain that you call, remember your breath and remember this. That's just you too, with just a more higher level of fear frequency. We are literally all connected. My tree in the back is saying hi. Hi there. um, we've hurt enough. We've hurt enough. It's time to remember ourselves. It's time to embody ourselves even when the fire is burning. In doing so, we expand. We let go of the things that bring us towards more fear. And now we find the things that bring us toward more us. And we don't go look for it. We become present. We start noticing and let and be guided like Alice in the Wonderland. Alice in the Wonderland? Everything is here communicating with you. You're not as alone as you think you are. You have been reincarnated, reincarnated, reincarnated so many times, and fear has been pulling you away from you a long time. Remember your own stories. Remember yourself. Use your breath. Use fire to let go of what is hard to let go of. Use the water to wash, to hold. Just look at the trees and let them remind us of how to be. That is grounded, rooted, connected. Okay, and so it'll be the end of today's. If you have any questions, I love them because they help me expand too. Remember, this is a home for me too. It's actually a home for me. And then I'm expanding that because we are actually connected. I am you and you are me. And so let's be me's together. um, thank you. I love questions. If you have them, I actually get really excited for questions. You don't know how excited I get when I got that questions about legitimate and manufactured fear. I was just like, yes, please send me more questions. I love them. When I see questions, I actually get so excited. um, but yes, thank you for taking the time to be here, to surrender within yourself. It's a gift you give me and a gift I am gifting you. I do not edit any of my videos or recording. I do not edit any of them because the raw me is the perfection embodied. It's the best gift I can give myself and the best gift I can give anything and anyone in the world. So, thank you. And until next time.